This is Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thank you so much for joining us today for Live with Annie. As usual, we've started the stream a bit early. This helps us get everything set up and broadcasting properly to our various platforms. You can find a countdown clock on the screen showing how long it will be until we actually go live. While you wait, please connect with us and other viewers in the chat. Let us know where you are from and whether you're a new or longtime viewer. We'll see you live soon! Thanks again for joining us for Live with Annie. We are so happy to have you with us today. While you wait for the program to start, we hope you'll enjoy the content playing on screen. There's so much inspiration, so take a moment to tell us what you love in the chat. Don't forget there is a countdown clock on the screen so you know how long until we go live. Hi, it's Annie again, reminding you that we'll be going live with this week's episode shortly. There is a countdown clock on the screen showing how much time is left. You've got just enough time to grab some water or a beverage of your choice and a snack, and to connect with us in the chat. We'd love to hear what you've been working on this week. again, it's Annie, back to remind you that we'll be starting this week's live very shortly. We've got a really fun episode planned for today, and we'll see you soon. Hi, I'm Annie of ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Thank you so much for joining us for episode 1 of season 5 of Live with Annie. Today we are kicking off a new year of Live with Annie and an expansion of our So Pink campaign. Starting today and throughout the year, we are going to help spread awareness of a variety of cancers and diseases that affect us and our loved ones. Focusing on a different disease each month, we'll share knowledge about risk factors, screening, and prevention. Along the way, we'll also share ideas for projects you can make using the designated colors for each month. You are especially going to love the great new tool we have developed to help you choose solid colored fabrics for these projects. So stay tuned, we have got lots to cover today. So welcome everyone to 2025. I hope that your holidays were happy and that you're looking forward to a wonderful new year of sewing. I had a very productive time over the past month getting 3 new patterns drafted. With the help of my team, we even managed to get 1 illustrated, reviewed, and sent off to outside testers. I also spent an enjoyable morning in mid-December visiting with Brandy Maslowski of Quilter on Fire, recording an episode for her podcast. I always enjoy Brandy's podcast as she asks such great questions and is so calm and kind. It's obvious that her goal is to bring you the stories of quilters, designers, and creators with more joy and less overwhelm. The podcast was released on New Year's Eve, so if you'd like to learn a little bit more about the ByAnnie story, I hope you'll listen in on our conversation. We'll put up the link so you can find it easily. It is always a treat to see you here for Live with Annie, and we really appreciate it when you make the time to be with us, even if you are catching us on the replay. So thank you. If you don't already follow us, please take a minute to do that wherever you are watching. And if you know someone else who you think might enjoy the info that we share, we would really love it if you'd tell them about Live with Annie too. And to do that, just tag them while you're watching, because that will take them directly to the episode and they can watch it too. And as always, we love reading your comments, so be sure to interact with us throughout this presentation. We want to know what you think, and we love learning from you too. If you have any questions, just add them in the comments or chat, and we will do our best to answer them before we close. I am super thirsty today. In our last episode, we shared some holiday cheer and introduced you to the ByAnnie team. I hope you enjoyed meeting them all, hearing about their holiday traditions, and laughing along with all of us as we sing our special ByAnnie jingle. If you missed that episode or want to watch it again, remember that you can find all the previous 183 episodes of Live with Annie on our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, or at ByAnnie.com. And we've put up all the links to make them easy for you to find. So as many of you know, each October we host our annual Sew Pink initiative, which includes a blog, sewing projects to raise awareness, fundraising efforts, and basically just a way to raise awareness of breast cancer. We have always intended for that initiative to be a year-long event, expanded to raise awareness about other cancers and diseases. After all, when we sew together, we can grow together. Well, we've finally gotten that all together, and this year we are doing just that. Each year, millions are affected by cancer, so it's essential to arm ourselves with knowledge that can lead to prevention and better outcomes. From recognizing risk factors to adopting healthy lifestyle choices, awareness is the first step in the fight against cancer. So each month, we will share vital information about various types of cancer and the latest research on prevention strategies. Our language is sewing and quilting, so of course we'll also share some ByAnnie projects we've made to help spread awareness. Together we can empower ourselves and our communities to take charge of health and well-being in the face of these challenges. Keep in mind that of course we aren't medical professionals, so we are sharing this knowledge for informational purposes only. For medical advice or diagnosis, always consult a medical professional. The entire calendar has been set apart with days, weeks, and months designated to highlight ways to prevent and raise awareness for cancer. This begins right away in January, with the entire month being dedicated to raising awareness for cervical cancer. The good news is that cervical cancer is one of the most successfully treatable cancers, and it's also one of the most preventable. Cervical cancer is formed in the cervix, which is the lowest part of the uterus. Most cervical cancers are caused by the human papillomavirus, or HPV, which is passed through sexual contact. Obviously, abstinence is one way to avoid the virus, but women can also practice safe sex by using a condom during sexual activity and by receiving an HPV vaccine. That vaccine is most effective if given at an age range of about 11 to 26. Excuse me, I need water again. In addition to using these methods to prevent the spread of HPV, women can also get regularly tested for HPV. The National Cancer Institute tells us that nearly all people who are sexually active will become infected with HPV at some point in their lives. Most infections go away on their own within a year or two as the immune system controls the infection, and these short-term infections do not cause cancer. HPV is the main risk factor for cervical cancer, but there are several others to be aware of as well. These include smoking. Women who smoke are twice as likely to get cervical cancer compared to women who don't. Tobacco substances absorbed into the bloodstream can cause damage to cells in the cervix and put you at higher risk for cervical cancer. Also, a weakened immune system. If you have an immunosuppressant condition such as HIV or AIDS, that puts you at a higher risk for contracting HPV. Having a compromised immune system also makes it more difficult for your body to destroy precancerous cells before they grow and spread. Another risk factor are sexually transmitted infections. Women with STIs such as chlamydia have a higher risk of cervical cancer compared to women who don't. Not eating enough fruits and vegetables and being overweight is another risk factor. So a poor diet and higher body weight is associated with a higher risk of cervical cancer. Long-term use of oral contraceptives. Studies have shown that oral contraceptives increase the risk for cervical cancer, but the risk goes back down to normal once you've stopped using those contraceptives. Another risk factor is a young age at your first full-term pregnancy. So women who were younger than 20 when they had their first full-term pregnancy are more likely to get cervical cancer later in life than women who were 25 at their first pregnancy. Another risk factor is multiple full-term pregnancies. Women who have had 3 or more full-term pregnancies have an increased risk of developing cervical cancer. It's thought this is probably due to the increased exposure to HPV infection with sexual activity, and studies have pointed to hormonal changes during pregnancy as possibly making women more susceptible to HPV infection or cancer growth. Another thought is that pregnant women might have weaker immune systems, allowing for HPV infection and cancer growth. Another risk factor is poverty. Women who lack access to healthcare services that include cervical cancer screening tests are less likely to have precancers and cancers caught early. And finally, use of the DES hormonal drug. DES is no longer used, but women whose mothers took DES during pregnancy are slightly more likely to develop cervical cancer. There are several ways that you can screen for cervical cancer. As mentioned earlier, HPV tests are a good way to know if you have an infection that might lead to cancer. From the ages of 25 to 65, the American Cancer Society recommends getting an HPV test every 5 years. In addition to HPV testing, cervical cancer can also be discovered during regular Pap tests. Cervical cancer is usually treatable if detected early, so these tests are essential for prevention. The most important thing to remember is to get screened regularly, no matter which test you get. To show support of cervical cancer and awareness, you can wear a teal and white ribbon. And here's a ribbon that we made. Interestingly, cervical cancer has actually been represented by many colors over the years: purple, orange, teal, and lavender, even the entire rainbow. But in 2008, the National Cervical Cancer Coalition voted on the official colors, and they chose teal and white. By that point, the ovarian cancer ribbon had been teal for many years, and by using teal as one of the colors in the cervical cancer ribbon, teal was solidified as a color that represents awareness for all gynecological cancers. Although Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month isn't until September, every time you wear teal is a good time to spread awareness about ovarian cancer too. While ovarian cancer is rare, it is the leading cause of death from cancer of the female reproductive system and the 5th leading cause of cancer death in women. Ovarian cancer is one of the hardest cancers to detect, and while there are constant advancements in medical technology, researchers have yet to find a significant way to detect this cancer. Even those at higher risk of developing ovarian cancer, for instance those with a family of ovarian, breast, or colorectal cancer, have no completely reliable way to detect this cancer in its earliest stages. But when ovarian cancer is detected early, it has a 93 to 97% 5-year relative survival rate. That survival percentage decreases quickly if the cancer is found in later stages. And unfortunately, because symptoms can go undetected until later stages, and there is currently no recommended screening procedure, ovarian cancer can often be fatal. Medical research is constantly evolving, and ovarian cancer treatment has advanced greatly in the last few decades. If you are concerned about the possibility of developing ovarian cancer, reach out to one of your medical professionals. While it's unclear what effect a lot of factors have on ovarian cancer, there is a strong correlation between full-term pregnancies and a lower rate of ovarian cancer. The risk goes down with each full-term pregnancy, and breastfeeding may lower the risk even further. Different forms of birth control, like oral contraceptives, Tubal ligation and a short use of IUDs are also linked to reducing the risk of ovarian cancer. So there are countless ways that you can help support cervical and ovarian cancer patients. The easiest way is to keep the conversation going. Spread awareness by wearing teal and white ribbons this month. Post about these cancers on social media. Talk to your friends and family about risk factors and ways to be screened. And tell others how they can support this cause. If you have the means, donate to trusted organizations that focus on medical research. We will put up links to organizations related to cervical and ovarian cancer. We have also created a fundraising team at the American Cancer Organization. Our goal is to raise $10,000, and we will match any donation made through our team. You can find all the information on our So Pink page at ByAnnie.com. Just click on the Donate Funds button. And if someone you know is being affected by one of these cancers, another way you can support is by helping out with daily tasks like meals, childcare, groceries, or rides to appointments. While cancer is scary, if we stand together as a community to support those fighting battles against cancer, whether it be as a patient, caregiver, or medical professional, we can make the battle a little easier for everyone. Next, I want to talk about some ways that you can use sewing to help raise awareness for cervical cancer. But first, let's take a minute to learn about one of our featured local quilt shops. This shop believes that they are not just part of their local community, but also part of the world at large. They feel we are our best selves when we're giving of ourselves to others, so they host monthly charity sewing groups for a broad range of charitable causes.
Hi, I'm Elisa from ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Join me as I visit the Land of Enchantment to learn more about Hip Stitch in Albuquerque, New Mexico, the regional winner for New Mexico in our 2024 local quilt shop contest. New Mexico is a state full of color and culture. It's no surprise it's home to a quilt shop as special as Hip Stitch. Suzanne Kelly first opened the shop in 2008, the first of its kind in Albuquerque with the concept of a sewing lounge for community gathering. In 2013, Steve Hamlin joined Suzanne to help run Hip Stitch. Together, they make Hip Stitch into a place that prioritizes community and charity. The store features many modern fabrics like Modus Grunge fabrics. They also print their own custom fabrics designed by local artists. And at Hip Stitch, you can find featherweight sewing machines that have been refurbished and painted. Hip Stitch does a wonderful job fostering community. They host regular open sew nights for sewists to gather together and share the progress on their projects. Besides their open sew nights, they also have many classes for beginner or advanced sewists. As sewing programs become more infrequent in schools, Hip Stitch has made an effort to make sewing resources more available for young sewists. One way they do this is the Recreate program. This program allows quilters to bring in their old unused fabric and donate it, receive store credit, or get cash. Hip Stitch then finds new homes for this fabric, either by selling it at an affordable price or by donating it to a deserving charity. By keeping prices on these fabrics low, young sewists are able to foster their newfound passion for sewing without breaking the bank. The Hip Stitch community has been so generous with their unused fabric that the store temporarily cannot take in any more fabric. So be sure to follow their social media pages to see when they're able to accept more fabric. In addition to their fabric donations, Hip Stitch hosts many charity sew nights, where sewists can come together to make projects. Recently, they've worked with As You Are to make small zipper bags for women on the streets of Albuquerque who have been victims of sex trafficking and have struggled with homelessness, substance use, and mental health issues. These bags are filled with essential hygiene items, and at the time of this video, they're about to have a charity sew night for preemie pillows. These positioning pillows will then be donated to the UNM hospital to be used at the newborn intensive care unit. Even if you don't know how to sew, you can volunteer to help cut fabrics, trace patterns, and stuff pillows. Be sure to check out their website to sign up for one of these events. Their generosity extends past their local community too. Hip Stitch helps support the community of Creole Chihuahua, Mexico, in donations of sewing machines and fabric. In 2022, some of the Hip Stitch team traveled there to teach sewing. High on the list of reasons to visit Hip Stitch is their location. Albuquerque is in the middle of one of the most beautiful landscapes you can find. If you're lucky enough to visit in October, you'll see their blue skies filled with hundreds of colorful hot air balloons for the Albuquerque International Balloon Fiesta. When you visit, be sure to stop at the infamous Albuquerque restaurant Frontier for some cinnamon rolls, homemade tortillas, and most importantly, some red or green hatch chili. Any New Mexican will tell you it doesn't get any better than some good red chili, so grab an extra bottle on your way out. Of course, no visit to Albuquerque is complete until you visit Hip Stitch. To learn more about all their wonderful products and opportunities to volunteer, visit hipstitchabq.com. Thanks for watching, and until next time, happy stitching!
I so enjoyed learning more about Hip Stitch and was really impressed to see their class calendar with regular free classes for customers to get involved in sewing projects for charity. From making pillowcases for Baskets of Hope, blankets for pets at local animal shelters, bags for Beads of Courage, or preemie pillows for the NICU, there are so many ways to get involved. And whether or not you live in the Albuquerque area, be sure to check out their class calendar to find out more information about each of these organizations. Perhaps there is a chapter in your area, and if not, consider starting one. Since we are quilters and sewists, our first thoughts when talking about raising awareness for cervical cancer were, of course, let's get some teal and white fabrics, followed quickly by, let's make a teal and white awareness ribbon. And then, what else can we sew in teal and white? Since we thought the colors would be best represented by solid fabrics, our first step was to find some beautiful solids in teal and white. Fortunately, our friends Daryl and Nelson at Andover Fabrics had given us this awesome color chart showing all 100 colors in their gorgeous Century Solids line. So we pulled that out and were thrilled to find the perfect colors. So we picked Cotton Ball for white, and Teal, Aquarium, and Aqua, which gave us 3 shades or values of teal. Those were perfect for the cervical cancer awareness ribbon that we made using Angela Bowman of Sewfinity's awareness ribbon pattern. And they added some fun interest to these Petit four baskets that we made using Quilt As You Go and crazy pacing techniques. I'm going to talk about more about these in a minute, but first let's talk about color. If you'd like to make an awareness ribbon or other project for cervical cancer, or any of the other cancers that we'll be focusing on this year, you are really going to appreciate the color chart that we put together. Since we want you to be able to find the fabrics for any of these projects that inspire you at your local quilt shop, and we know that no store can possibly carry all the fabrics out there, we reached out to our industry friends asking for color cards of their solid fabrics. And I have to tell you, it was like Christmas as these amazing color cards started arriving. What fun it was to see the variety of solid fabrics from so many companies. So to date, we have received color cards for solid fabrics from 14 different companies, and I want to show them to you today. You've got to enjoy some of this fun too. So as I said, the first one, which we already had, was Century Solids from Andover. And I always have a hard time folding this back up, but we'll put it there. Some of these companies feature a really wide range of colors, and I think probably the king of all of them is Robert Kaufman, who has 365 colors in their Kona Cotton's solid range. That is one for every single day of the year. And what a gorgeous selection of colors. So this is Kona Cotton's, 100% cottons, and 365 colors. The next one that we got was from Moda Fabrics, and they aren't far behind. They have over 130 colors in their fabulous Bella Solids line. I have often used their black and white solids when I was making quilts, but I haven't branched out so much into all of these lovely solids, but I can guarantee you that's coming because they really are lovely. So that's Bella Solids from Moda. Then I'm going to put these back at the back so I don't get confused. Riley Blake sent us a color card that has 186 colors on it. And I just learned recently that they are going to be augmenting this with 114 more colors that will release in February. So that will bring their total to 300 amazing solids. And as I said, though we haven't done much with solids, these color cards are really inspiring me, and I can't wait to work with some of these. So that was Riley Blake. Then we got some from Michael Miller, and their line is called Cotton Couture. They've got 234 beautiful colors in their line of solids, and my tech editor Leslie tells me that these are her absolute favorites and the ones she works with whenever she wants to use solids. All right, next we got Pure Solids from Art Gallery Fabrics, and they have over 200 absolutely luscious colors in their line of Pima cottons. These fabrics are so soft and just really luxurious. And I have to say, Art Gallery Fabrics are some of Glow's absolute favorites, and I love working with them too. They have such a nice feel. It's interesting as you look at these to see how some have more in certain areas than in others. Here's another one that I am really excited to work with, and these are Cherrywood from Cherrywood Fabrics. These are really awesome hand-dyed fabrics that almost look like they're suede. They are just absolutely beautiful. They have been dyeing fabrics for over 35 years and now have 200 colors in their line. They are just fabulous, and we've started working with them because we are one of the sponsors for their Cherrywood Challenge this year, and I've on their mailing list a little bit more, but they have special collections that they release throughout the years. They've just introduced one called Desert Garden that has some amazingly beautiful colors, and we're going to be making some bags with that. So I'm looking forward to working more with those coming up soon. I'm going to set these over here because I don't want to take time to put those back in that bag. All right, then we have fabrics from Benartex, and like Andover, they have 100 beautiful shades in their Superior Solids line. And these would be perfect to coordinate with some prints from some of our favorite Benartex designers like Krista Watson and Amanda Murphy. So that is some of Amanda's fabric back there, and I'm sure some of these would look gorgeous with those. So that was Benartex with their Superior Solids. And of course, we can't forget one of our favorite fabric companies, Free Spirit Fabrics. I don't think I have ever used a solid from them except for black. So I was really thrilled to discover that they have 80 gorgeous shades in their designer solids line. And that includes 44 Tula Pink solids that are just fabulous to coordinate with her print lines. I'm looking forward to playing with some of those too. Next is Hoffman Fabrics, and their color card has some really nice swatches on it. Nice big pieces to play with. So they have 72 beautiful cotton solids that coordinate beautifully with their prints in their batiks. And I have not worked with Hoffman Fabrics before, but I am really excited to give some of these a try in some of our upcoming projects. All right, next on our list is Wyndham. And they have 70 shades in their Ruby and Bee collection of solids. We really love working with Wyndham designers like Carrie Bloomston, Natalie Barnes, and others, and these solids will be really great to mix in with some of those fabrics as well. Maywood Studios, who is part of E.E. Schenck and does Kimberbell fabrics, has 45 vibrant options to choose from in their Kimberbell Solids collection. And these are really a perfect complement to any of the Kimberbell Basics and seasonal print collections. You've met QT Fabrics on our Live with Annie before, and they have, it's hard to believe, but this is only 40 colors because they have such nice big pieces in here. But they have 40 shades called their QT shades, and these are really nice silky cottons that would be really perfect blenders with any of their prints or great on their own too. Really beautiful colors. And finally, Even Island Batik, who focuses on really gorgeous batik fabrics, has a lovely collection that they sent us of 14 solids. I'm going to open this up. We're going to be working with these for something special in February, but these are great foundations to go along with their batik lines. And just this week, they announced the news that they have expanded their horizons. They have a new parent company called Lumen and 2 sister companies, and one of those sister companies, called Echo Cotton, will be a new solids division. So watch for even more solids coming from them soon. So there you have it, over 2,000 gorgeous solids covering a full range of colors. And I hope you enjoyed seeing all the options and that you might be inspired to work with some solids too. Since we know that most of you won't have access to all those awesome color charts, we have created a handy solid color reference chart for that you can use. And you can get there in several ways. So probably the easiest way is just to go to our So Pink page. So you can get there by just typing in ByAnnie.com/So Pink. Or you can get there by clicking on the Community tab that is on the top menu bar, and you'll find it at the bottom of the first column, which is the photo contest, because we always do a prize for anybody who submits something related to cancer awareness. You can also click on the Learning tab, and there you'll find it in the right column under Other Resources. So once you get to the So Pink page, then scroll down to the section that's titled So More Than Pink. And there you will see a chart as well as a link to download it if you want to print it out as I did. And note that we have arranged this information in 2 different ways. So the first tab, if it's like an Excel spreadsheet, if you go down to the bottom and click on the tab, you will see the first one shows a large chart that has all 14 of those fabric companies listed alphabetically across the top of the chart. And then down the left side of the chart, the left side are the months and the colors that we've chosen for each month. And in most cases, we have chosen a light, a medium, and a dark for the particular color. We have planned projects for each month based on these, so occasionally we are going to have some additional fabrics to blend with the others, but we began this process by choosing which cancer we wanted to focus on each month and what projects we wanted to make to help spread awareness. We then chose colors for each of those months from Andover's Century Solids line. And as each additional company's color charts arrived, we picked colors from their lines that most closely match the Century Solid colors that we picked. If there wasn't a similar color, we picked the best alternatives. And there is a ton of information on this chart, so to make it a little bit easier to view the fabrics month by month, we also made another set of charts. So you're going to see some additional tabs across the bottom for each month. And when you click on those, you're going to see each monthly chart. And these show the fabric colors across the top with the fabric company down the left side. So that makes it easier to find the fabrics for a particular month from each fabric company. So if you look at this as the chart for January, you will see the color that most closely matches the colors that we picked from Andover for each fabric company. We hope that these charts will be helpful for you for making awareness ribbons and other projects to help spread awareness throughout the year. Next, I want to talk a bit about how I customized our Petit Four Baskets pattern to use these colors. But first, let's enjoy a video about another featured local quilt shop. This shop's owner started out selling fabric from home, expanded to selling at handmade markets, and now has a thriving brick-and-mortar shop.
Sorry, who was it?
Kaela's Patch.
Hi, I'm Elisa from ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Today we're going down under to visit Kaela's Patch, the grand prize winner for Australia in our 2024 local quilt shop contest. Kylie O'Mahony has been quilting for over 20 years. Kaela's Patch started with Kylie selling fabric at her local handmade markets and from her home. Eventually, she outgrew these spaces and began looking for a brick-and-mortar storefront. In August 2016, Kaela's Patch opened their doors for the first time. Thankfully, Kylie didn't enter this venture alone. She co-owns the shop with her husband Tom, and their two sons, Connor and Ethan, are happy to support their mom and can often be seen in the store after school. Kylie's parents also help around the shop. Her mother, Anne, is there almost daily, working on their front counter, helping customers select items for their upcoming projects. She loves English paper piecing, quilting, and historical dressmaking. And Kylie's father, Keith, often helps around the shop. It's really wonderful to hear about how Kylie's entire family has come together to help support her. The store is approximately 250 square meters with an open floor plan and a classroom space. They're located right in the heart of the Ipswich CBD with easy access to public transportation. They stock a wide range of quilting fabrics, bag making supplies, and haberdashery. Kaela's Patch goes out of their way to support local Australian businesses by sourcing many of their notions and patterns from other small shops. Besides the local supplies, Kylie sells bag-making staples from brands like Aurifil, Tulipink, and Tilda. And of course, they are always stocked with a wide range of ByAnnie patterns, hardware, and zippers. Kaela's Patch classroom activities include quilting and bag-making workshops, along with social sewing and sip and sew nights. The team also loves to visit local Southeast Queensland craft groups with their pop-up shops and workshops. They have so many opportunities for sewing groups. You can schedule an in-store visit for your sewing group, or Kaela's Patch can come to you. They often have pop-up shop options for groups that meet regularly. For these events, they'll bring a general assortment of fabrics and notions, or you can work with the team to tailor the visit for your requirements. No matter what it is, Kylie will go the distance to bring customers the best quilting supplies possible. She even made her way all the way to Houston for the International Quilt Festival, where the ByAnnie team had the opportunity to meet Kylie. Annie was so impressed with the dedication Kylie demonstrated carrying around a completely full backpack throughout the entire show. By the end of the show, Kylie had collected so many quilting goodies to bring back for her customers in Ipswich, Queensland. The historic area of Ipswich, Queensland is full of quality cafes and restaurants, as well as beautiful boutiques and specialty shops. There's plenty of cultural experiences, art galleries, and museums to enrich your visit. And thankfully, Kaela's Patch is within a walking distance of all these wonderful experiences. If you can make the trip to Ipswich, it will definitely be worth your time. To learn more about all the great fabrics, notions, and patterns Kylie has hand-selected, visit their website at kaelaspatch.com.au. Thanks for coming along with us for our journey to the Southern Hemisphere. And until next time, happy stitching!
I really enjoyed seeing photos of Kylie's store and family. I really enjoyed also meeting her in person at both the H&H show in Chicago last spring and at Houston this past fall. She is such a delightful lady, and it's really easy to see why her customers appreciate her and made her the Australian Grand Prize winner for 2024. Okay, Let's take a look at some ways you can use these teal and white fabrics to help spread awareness of cervical cancer. One way to do that is to make an awareness ribbon using the colors. I made this ribbon using Angela Bowman's Awareness Ribbon FPP pattern. FPP stands for Foundation Paper Piecing. Angela is the owner of Sewfinity, a wonderful online fabric shop who specializes in solid fabrics. In fact, she has the full collection of 5 of those fabric companies that are included on our list. Angela has participated in our Sew Pink initiative several times, and she always makes amazing projects using solid fabrics. She often includes an awareness ribbon in the project and has generously shared free patterns for both a 6-inch block and a 12-inch block. And she's designed them so they work well for 1 or 2 color ribbons. You can find the patterns at Angela's website, which is Sewfinity.com, but we have also added a link to Angela's patterns at our website, ByAnnie.com. To help support our expanded cancer awareness campaign, we now have a cancer awareness course. It includes our Bosom Buddy pattern and add-on videos for it, as well as links to the Shannon Fabrics mastectomy pillow and Angela's awareness ribbons. As we discover additional patterns that relate, we will add them there as well. So to find the course, this is brand new as of today, just type cancer or awareness in the search box and the course will pop up. As always, once you get there, be sure you're logged in and click on join the course to get full access to all the information. These awareness ribbons can be used in so many ways. For instance, here's a Bosom Buddy that we made using the ribbon. And Angela even has designed a special block pattern that gives you all the sizes of the pieces you add on top and bottom to get this exactly. Here's a really important note. You will need to go to the Cancer Awareness course to find the free Bosom Buddy pattern and its related video. So if you go into our website and search for Bosom Buddy, you'll see the printed patterns at the top and the Cancer Awareness course. So be sure to click on the course to get the free downloadable pattern and its videos. Angela has also used these ribbons on Clam Up, Zip It Up, pillows, and more. And she has lots of great tips, plus special adapted patterns at her website. She has another one for Clam Up, so be sure to check those out. Angela was our guest on Live with Annie in Season 1, Episode 40, when she shared lots of great tips for foundation paper piecing. So be sure to check those out if you are going to make a ribbon. Also, on February 5th, during Live with Annie, so that's the first Wednesday in February, we are going to have a sew-along with a lesson on foundation paper piecing, which again is called FPP for short. I really love the precision that paper piecing provides, and I've got some really good tips to share. I'm still working out all the details, but we will share a supply list and some more information soon. So be sure you are signed up for our email newsletter to get all the details. I also customized some fun Petit baskets to use the teal and white cervical cancer colors. So the Petit baskets pattern is the first in our ByAnnie Basics series, and it is designed to teach you to work with soft and stable. It makes a handy little basket that's perfect for all sorts of treasures. It would be great for holding some treats for someone facing cancer treatments or for family members and caregivers. You will find the pattern and full step-by-step video tutorial in the ByAnnie Basics course at ByAnnie.com. And just like you found the Cancer Awareness course, log into your account at ByAnnie.com, search for ByAnnie Basics, then same way, click on the course. And once you're there, be sure to click on Join the Course so that you can access the downloadable PDF pattern and all the course materials. So for this basket, I wanted to use the 3 colors of teal plus the white, and I thought that making a pieced block for the body using Quilt As You Go techniques would make that super easy. So I started by cutting the soft and stable and the lining just as directed in the fabric or in the pattern. And I chose to use the dark teal for the lining as I thought it would look good for the faux binding at the top. So for the body of it, I had 4 different fabrics to work with: the light, medium, and dark teal plus the white. And I decided that I would make the strips all the same width if I could. So the first decision I needed to make was how wide to cut those strips. So here's how I calculated it. The front and the back of the bag, so from here, or basket, from here to here, are 5 inches wide when finished. So if I wanted those 4 strips to go across there evenly, I divided 5 inches by 4, and I got 1 1/4 inches. So the finished size of each of those would be 1 1/4 inches, or start at 1 3/4. I'll go back a little bit because I've lost my place. Each side is 2.5 inches wide. So if I divided that, I got the same thing. So 2 strips works out perfectly on each side. 2 strips equal 2.5 inches. So I knew I would need a 1/4 inch seam allowance on each side of each strip. So I needed a 1 1/4 inch finished. I cut my strips 1 3/4 inches wide. And the pattern tells you to cut your main fabric at 9 by 10, but it tells you to cut your soft and stable at 10 by 11. So that's what I did. I cut my soft and stable 10 by 11, and I cut my strips 10 inches tall, so that I knew I could trim the piece once I got everything attached. So I only had to cut 2 strips of each color, so 1 3/4 by 10 inch, 2 strips of each color for the basket. Then what I did is I marked the lines on the soft and stable so that I'd know where my piecing was going to end up. So again, we cut our soft and stable 1/2 inch larger, so I marked 1/2 inch lines around the outside edges, and then I just followed the direction in the pattern to mark the fold line and seam allowances. So those lines are marked 2.5 inches in from each side of the finished basket, and then your seam allowances are marked 1/4 inch away here. So then I knew that in order to get these 5 strips to fall out right here, I had to start 1/4 inch over for that seam allowance. So I started with the medium teal, and I marked a line 1/4 inch over from this line. So this one is 2.5 inches from this side, 3 inches from this side, so this one is 2 3/4 inch. So then I lined that up on there, and I think I sewed that piece in place just so it wouldn't move. And the main reason, the pattern doesn't tell you to mark these lines until you have everything attached, but I knew they would be helpful for me to position the various strips for the body, and I really wanted the ones in the middle to come out right. So once those lines were marked, then I started putting the strips down. So I aligned that first strip along the line that I marked 1/4 inch over from that vertical line, and I just put it on there right side up and stitched it in place about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Then I took my next piece with right sides together is what you're going to do. Obviously there's really no right and wrong side, so it doesn't matter a whole lot, but I lined that right on top there, and then I sewed that seam. I'm just going to put a couple pins in here. We're going to pretend I'm sewing this. And then you'll sew that with a nice accurate 1/4 inch seam. Press that over so it looks like that. And then you can go with your next strip, which I did, which was my white strip. So once that's pressed down, I'll align my raw edges there. I'll stitch across that, press that one over, and then I'll do my light one, and then I continue here, just duplicating the colors that I'd done there. So then my medium teal and my dark teal to finish that side. To finish this side, I'm going to take my, let's see what goes, the light one. So I'm going to take this one and align it on this side of this one, press that here and fold it over, press this one here and fold it over, and then I've got my quilt as you go pieces all attached. So once those are attached, I give it a good pressing, and then I'm going to trim it to the 9 by 10 inches, which is the size directed in the pattern. One thing to keep in mind is you want these strips to fall out right in the middle. So I made sure that when I was cutting that 10 inch wide, I kept the 5 inch line on my ruler right along the middle of those 2 strips. And then once the piece was trim, I stitched 1/8 of an inch from the edge to seal the edges and proceeded just as the pattern was written. So it made it simple to do, and I think it turned out really cute. So then I had done the foundation paper piecing on this, and I had a whole bunch of little scraps of fabric that were left over and little pieces left. So I thought, how about doing one that's done with a crazy patch piecing? So for this, I gathered all those scraps of fabric that I had left, and just as I did for the Quilt As You Go basket, I cut the soft and stable and lining as the pattern directed, marked the fold lines and seam allowances on the soft and stable. I knew that if I was going to go to all the work of piecing this, I didn't want to bother piecing in these parts that are going to cut out. You cut these out and that's what forms your sides. So I put an X there to remind myself when I start piecing that I don't need to put fabric. So I use those lines to guide where I need it to attach it, and that way I wasn't wasting time there. So I started by finding just a little triangle, and we're just going to kind of walk through the steps here, but I had a little triangle of white that I put, where's my basket? Right at the bottom. And so I started in the middle of the bottom and worked my way out to the edges. And then I just started looking at other pieces. I have this piece here. This one is actually the one I was playing with last night, and actually I think I started with this one. And I found that if I took this piece and lined it on there and sewed it, when it opened up, that would give me a nice interesting shape there. So then I took this piece and thought, well, where could I put that? That's probably not going to be real useful up there, but maybe I could take that piece and sew it right there. And so I'd sew those, I'd get those trimmed, and then I'd get me a nice long piece like this one, and I'm not going to worry too much about trimming those. I'm going to lay something on here, like turn it around like this. I'll sew across that, fold that over and stitch that, and then I can trim away any extra edges that are under there. So you're just going to basically add random pieces you go to the edges, align a piece that has a similar length on one side, stitch it down, fold it over until you have, like I could take this piece and sew it there and put that there. Keep going until you have the piece covered. And I've got some images that Jake's going to put up. So I kept adding pieces, trimming as I needed until I had most of the soft and stable covered. Again, I didn't worry about covering those two little pieces on the side because I knew those were going to be cut away. After that was all done, I trimmed the piece to 9 by 10 inches, and just as I did on the other one, I proceeded as directed in the pattern. Did we miss a couple images?
Yeah.
Just
we're catching up.
okay. Yeah.
Image 4.
So in image 4, that one is going to show how I trimmed or sewed around where the seam allowances were. I marked the lines once I had it all cut out, stitched the seam allowances just like it said, and then cut out the sides and assembled the bag. So basket. I always want to call them bags. But it was really fun and easy, and each one you make is going to be completely unique, and what a great way to use all these little scraps that are left over that you'd probably normally just throw away. I think that either of these little baskets would certainly brighten the day of any patient facing treatment for cancer, and filled with small items to nourish them or their caregivers, they are sure to be appreciated. So let's see if our viewers have any questions before we move on. So first one is, what factors do you all use to determine which solid fabrics are your favorite? Well, in this instance, we started with the colors from Andover, and we were looking for particular colors. So it was actually pretty easy because Andover had 3 teals, basically. So it would have been a lot harder if we had started with someone like Kona or Moda that had 360 or 300 colors. So it worked out working with one that was kind of more in the middle of the line because it gave us, it kind of made the decision for us. So the next question was, do any of these colors cross over into each line? What we did is we made our list with 4, in this case. These were the 4 colors that we picked from Andover: teal, aquarium, aqua, and cotton ball. And for art gallery, the colors that best matched that were these 4. So we went for each one and picked 4 colors. You could probably mix this with this, with this, with this, but not necessarily, because when someone had a lot more colors or a lot less colors, you had to be a little bit careful. So you might be careful trying to combine them or look at them again. Next question was, are any of the solids made in America? That is a really good question, and not one that I can answer right off the bat here. I did not look at that to see, but we'll try to get that back and let you know. Not a question, but I thought you might want to reassure viewers that you are not sick. There is some concern. Do I look sick today? I don't feel sick. Gloria is sick. Everybody else is here is sick. Glo was sick when she left on the 20th of December for Spain, and she caught another old world virus while she was in Europe, and she's still sick. And I went over to the warehouse before this to fill up my water bottle, and there was a lot of sickies over there. But actually, no, I feel really healthy today. They are worried that you have cancer. Oh, no. I absolutely do not have cancer. I hope. Not that I know of. We are doing this because we know that there are a lot of people out there who do, and we really want to help spread awareness. We have been really pleased with the response that we have had to our So Pink campaign, and every year since the very first year we've done it, we have people write and say, I wish you would shine a light on another. In fact, the very first year, I remember a lady writing, and I actually ran across her email the other day, who said, please cover childhood cancer. The month for childhood cancer is September, and we are going to do that this year. But she said they get such a pittance in terms of donations for research for that, and there are so many children who die of childhood cancers. And please, let people know about them and help raise awareness for that. So that's what our goal is this year. And truthfully, after 5 years of Live with Annie, it's kind of hard coming up with new topics all the time. So we thought this would be a way to help you learn something new, help you stay healthy, help your family stay healthy, and tie it in with sewing by coming up with some projects. And we're looking forward to experimenting with solid fabrics, which we haven't done a lot, and figuring out ways to maybe incorporate some foundation paper piecing, English paper piecing, some quilting maybe, because quilting shows up so well on solids. So that's what our focus is going to be this year. But no, I am very healthy, other than my knees hurt. I was trying to do 10,000 steps a day walking. That was my goal for the new year, and I haven't walked for 2 weeks. I was doing really good for about 2 months getting there, but I overdid it or something. So I'm hoping that they loosen up and stop hurting, and that's the only thing that I have. But I hope you appreciated today learning about cervical cancer, and that you are inspired to make some teal and white projects of your own to help spread awareness and support with others. We would love to see the baskets you make and how you combine the fabrics to make them interesting. And as I said earlier, we do have a special prize, or what's the word, surprise award, in our photo contest each month. You just check a little box saying that you did this for cancer awareness or So Pink or whatever, and we love showcasing those. So please participate in that too. And as always, please ask for these patterns and supplies and these beautiful solid fabrics at your local quilt shop. They are such an important part of our sewing and quilting communities. It really is up to all of us to keep them strong and vibrant. And if they don't have these products, they can certainly get them. Fabrics from their favorite manufacturers, and ByAnnie patterns and supplies from their favorite distributor or directly from us. We are always happy to set up a wholesale account for qualified shops, so just ask them to contact us for more information. And please stay tuned at the end of this episode for one more local quilt shop contest or feature. A local quilt shop employee took a brave leap and bought the shop when her boss retired, and she then took the store on to become the regional winner for the province of Saskatchewan in our 2024 LQS contest. I really loved learning more about them, and I know you will too, so stay tuned. Before we close, I have some really important information to share. To give me some much-needed time for pattern writing and other projects, we have decided to transition Live with Annie to a monthly format in 2025. So barring travel or other circumstances, our plan is that we will go live the first Wednesday of each month at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. We have some really special guests and topics planned. We also have ideas for additional videos and events throughout the year. We may have an extra Live with Annie, ByAnnie. I need water. We may have an extra Live with Annie episode here and there too, so be sure that you subscribe to our email newsletters so that we can keep you in the know about everything that's happening at ByAnnie. And to do that, just go to ByAnnie.com and click on the Community tab. Right at the top, you're going to see a link that says Join Our Email List. Click on that, complete the information, and submit it. That really is the very best way to learn about our newest products, our best techniques, and more. And thank you again to everyone who joined us today. We will be back on Wednesday, February 5th at 2 p.m. Mountain Time with a really fun episode of Live with Annie. We are going to be having a sew-along. And I will share tips and tricks for foundation paper piecing. And if you join me, you can make a small FPP block to use as a pocket on the front of On the Go 2.0 or another small project. We will send a supply list and more information in next week's email newsletter, so watch for that coming soon. And mark your calendars now for Wednesday, February 5th. And until then, happy stitching!
Hi, I'm Elisa from ByAnnie.com and Patterns by Annie. Come with me as I visit the Great White North once more to learn about Periwinkle Quilting and Beyond Incorporated, the 2023 and 2024 regional winner for Saskatchewan in our local quilt shop contest. Michelle Harris opened Periwinkle Quilting in August 2001. A year later, Patty Erickson Reynolds joined the Periwinkle team. When Michelle retired in 2017, Patty took over ownership and has run the shop ever since. Besides being the owner of Periwinkle Quilting, Patty is also a wife and mother of 2 grown children. She shares a love of rural life and horses with her husband. Periwinkle has lived in 5 locations over the years. They've been in their current location for 5.5 years. Periwinkle Quilting boasts 2,800 square feet of quilting paradise in a busy part of Saskatoon. It's set back in a modern strip mall with plenty of parking. When they moved into the space, they completely renovated it to have a warm and contemporary feel. Periwinkle prides itself on quantity and variety of quilting fabrics. They also have a wonderful bag-making section which features ByAnnie patterns. They sell Bernina and Burnett sewing machines and have an experienced machine technician on staff. If you visit, be sure to attend one of their classes or special events. These classes cover everything from embroidery to binding to paper piecing and so many other skills. When you attend these classes, you'll quickly learn why so many customers are raving about this shop. Helen told us, I have taken many quilting classes at Periwinkle and have been very pleased with the knowledge that I came home with. And Rita shared, this shop never fails. I can always get what I want and more. I love going in and just looking around, and the ladies are always friendly. Many customers recommended signing up for their email newsletters, telling us about the character and humor they put into every email. If you're unable to visit this shop, signing up for this newsletter is a great way to support the shop and add a little extra quilting humor into your life. Although, if you can visit Saskatoon, it'll be worth the trip. Saskatoon is built on the banks of the South Saskatchewan River in Saskatchewan, Canada. It's the city of bridges and is known to be the most beautiful and largest city in the province. Saskatoon has a large number of great restaurants and events like the Saskatoon Jazz Festival. There's the Ramai Modern Art Gallery, Western Development Museum Boomtown, and the Nutrien Wonder Hub Children's Museum. Periwinkle Quilting recently had a great opportunity for those who want to explore both Saskatchewan and quilting. Periwinkle hosted a quilt retreat at Shekinah Retreat Center this past November. This retreat has created so many important memories and friendships for local quilters. One customer, Tanya, shared a really special story about how Patty went above and beyond to make the retreat a comforting space for her. She said, "My quilt shop puts on a retreat and it was very special for me because for several years my mom and I went together. She learned how to quilt at these retreats. She passed in 2016 and I wasn't sure if I could go back to the retreats as a single. Patty made sure that I had someone to stay with and made it easier to come alone. I'm so glad to hear that Tanya found a great quilting home and hope that many more might make the trip to visit this incredible shop." To learn more about all the care that goes into the shop, visit their website at periwinkle.biz. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, happy stitching!